We have a brand new mayor, and it's not just any new mayor here in Jacksonville, but our very first female in Jacksonville's history will be taking her oath to become mayor this Saturday. So super excited. This is Donna Deagan, who was just elected mayor, and she's just a wonderful leader. We're really excited about her leadership. She's very big on transparency and bringing everybody together to be a part of the conversation. And so we're super excited for her leadership. She outlined a few things that are really top of mind for her office and for Jacksonville overall. And a lot of these actually are things that we've talked about on the show. So I thought it would be a pretty cool an update here. The most important thing that is on the minds of Jacksonvillians, this Jacksonville Jaguars stadium deal. It's in the news. We did a show on it. It was one of our highest attended shows.
It's the podcast I published on Monday. So if you want to check it out on the podcast, great show.
Yep. If you want to find the podcast, just go to wherever you get podcasts, search Not Your Average Investor Show.
Yep.
Fantastic opportunity to highlight not just the Jacksonville Jaguars stadium, but beyond the stadium, what is being pitched here. And it's talking about Jacksonville arriving on the scene. And the stadium deal is one part of what is going on already in Jacksonville, which is downtown Jacksonville is becoming revitalized. It is making a big impact. And this stadium deal will really make a big impact. So the negotiations for the stadium between the city, Donna, and her administration and the city council and everybody, the stadium negotiations between them and the Jags can start as early as next month, according to our mayor to be.
Nice.
She said that she's going to take an approach where she's going to include a lot of people to make sure that this is the right deal for the city.
Smart.
She said she's going to break down the teams that are going to evaluate this on behalf of the city into 3 areas. She's going to have a financial team made up of her top staff. She's going to have a team of city lawyers to look over the deal. Always a good idea. And then she's also bringing in outside negotiators that know how to deal with the NFL, which I think is great.
It's great.
Right? We want to make sure this is a win for the city. We want to make sure this is a win for the Jags. And I think there's a lot of opportunity to do that. All of this is in anticipation. Both sides have come forward and said, we would like to reach an agreement no later than the second quarter of 2024.
Okay.
So it's June, July-ish timeframe here in 2023. So this is going to be a topic that we're going to talk a lot about. And the goal from both sides is to do that in the beginning to middle of 2024 so that construction could start as early as 2026 on this new $1.4 billion renovation.
Nice, man. I love the fact that we're going to be able to continue talking about the stadium deal, right? I think that what my biggest takeaway from the episode about the stadium that's on the podcast right now is just how similar the things that they are talking about when it comes to that stadium deal sound to all the stuff that we talk about on this show, right? My big takeaway was when you're like, you can take stadium out and insert JWB downtown development, or you can take downtown development out, insert UF campus, like all these different things that are colliding with turning downtown into a true center of a city that is 24/7 live, work, play, and the value that creates as a flywheel for the entire city is just a fascinating storyline for me. And I'm glad that Mayor Deagan's going away the way she's doing it, because there's a lot on the line here.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a part of cities that get screwed over by professional franchise cities like that are holding them to the fire. So I think that's a really smart approach. And I love the through line that's going through all this. Man.
And it's more than just the stadium deal. The Jags and the city would like this to be a part of a bigger vision of that downtown revitalization, the continued revitalization of downtown. So this can be a $2 billion deal.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about billions of dollars, probably it makes sense to bring in some people that have negotiated before. Yeah. And so I think it's a really smart move. And then just talking about what is going on downtown, even before this $1.3 billion renovation that we're talking about here, there's already $4 billion worth of construction going on in downtown Jacksonville now. That is up from 700 million just 5 years ago. 4 billion's going on right now. So it's happening whether or not this stadium renovation happens, which I expect it will happen, but it's not dependent on that.
Is that 1.2 billion number included in your $4 billion figure?
No.
Okay.
No,
all right.
It's not. So this is 4 billion that's happening right now. The Jag Stadium's 1.3 to 1.4 billion. There are not many downtowns around that have this many billions of dollars of activity going on. And if you want to take advantage of that, the best place to do it from a risk mitigation perspective is to invest in single family rental properties much like the one I'm going to be sharing with you today, in neighborhoods that are surrounding downtown. That is how this entire strategy, this JWB strategy, comes together. And that's what I want to share with you, because you can take advantage of this Jags stadium. You can take advantage of this $4 billion in construction. You can see rents and home prices go up when you invest in those risk mitigated neighborhoods.
Yeah. And to catch anybody up that hasn't been with us for the last 2 years, as we're talking about all of this, the idea is we've seen this pattern before. We've seen downtowns come alive in Nashville, in Charlotte, in Denver, in Austin, all these different places where the single family homes around the urban center go from being these very affordable things that people, yeah, do I want to live there? Do I not? Do I want to invest or do I not? To this very desired place, and property values, the curve of appreciation just bends, right? Like it bends upwards and it starts appreciating rapidly. So the idea of getting in before that happens, it's like buying Apple stock before they announce the iPhone or something like that, and having that inside track. And the reason why we're so bullish on the rental properties as opposed to investing in the downtown itself and condo developments or whatever's happening in downtown is because the future of downtown is very bright, but the present of the stuff that's going in there right now does not create that positive cash flowing equation in the short run for the average investor to be able to withhold it. The people that are investing in downtown have bigger purses and can wait for it longer, and therefore are in a different kind of like table at the Bellagio, right? Like they're like at the $500 table. We can be investing in the single family homes at the $5 table. That doesn't exist in the Bellagio, just FYI. But yeah, it's a more risk mitigated game to be in positive cash flow from day one in these workforce housing single family homes that have proven themselves to be incredibly resilient across everything, and yet they will still benefit from this idea of the urban center coming around. So that's why we talk about it a lot on the show. All right, so we got a couple questions regarding that. Lee Bishop, he's the MVP of the community. You may have
Heard of him before?
Yeah, you may have heard of him. He says, hopefully JWB will continue to be on some form of leadership with the new city development team with the new mayor. Is Alex still in place? Can you explain what he means by that?
Alex Fox is my business partner. He's our president. Absolutely. A big part of his role is to be outside of JWB, outside of our offices, so that he has those relationships with key city leaders. He's pretty influential in Jacksonville, and that is going to continue to be a big part of his role. That's how he creates many opportunities down the line, which become turnkey investment opportunities for you all. So that's not changing. He has a great relationship with Donna and her staff, and we're continuing to invest in those types of relationships.
So if you're new to the show and you haven't heard of the Tasmanian devil of Jacksonville real estate development, Alex Safakis, who is Greg's best friend from college and business partner, co-founder.
High school.
Oh, from high school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we weren't best friends in high school. I can't tell you that.
Anyways, what I find fascinating is that this is all deliberate, right? Like when you told me the story of Alex coming to the three other partners and saying, hey guys, 10 years ago, hey guys, Jacksonville's downtown is going to be a thing. So my plan is I want to go out there and build all these relationships and help as many people as possible in the city. And I want JWB to back me up on this thing, because in like 10 years or so, this thing's going to pay off with a straight face. And you guys said, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
When you think about highly speculative investments, that was probably the highest level of speculation I've ever done with an investment.
Yeah.
But you know what? It pays off.
It pays
right.
off.
Those types of opportunities that we have and that our clients have as a result of the relationships that Alex has built over 10 years, 15 years, there's very few people that are as influential as he is, and we all get to benefit from that.
And the reason why that's important as a real estate investor is because we harp on this idea of vertical integration, right? And this idea that you can go to turnkey providers that can find you a property and a property manager is one thing, but then there is vertically integrated providers that can have bought the land, are building the property themselves, are the property management team, are the portfolio management team. And then the next level up is working with the city to develop the macroeconomic circumstances to increase average incomes, median incomes. And that is one of these like beautiful alignments that doesn't happen in a lot of places. And Alex is that extra nugget that is doing that thing outside of the property line that adds value to all the pieces all together, and it creates a real win-win alignment of all stakeholders.
100%. He's our innovation department.
He is your innovation department. And by the way, relationships, compounding asset.